Ryota, I heard you won the top prize in the contest again. Congratulations! I'm proud to be your friend. I'm Ryota Shinonome. I'm studying graphic design at a vocational school. Mizuhiko Higa, from the same department, is my best friend. Thanks. I can keep going because you're always cheering me on. A few years later, after gaining enough experience, we started the Jikochu design office. Due to the investment ratio, Mizuhiko became the CEO, and I became a director. Your designs, Vice President Shinonome, have a great reputation among our clients. No, it's all thanks to President Higa that our office is doing well. Mizuhiko's family is wealthy, and a big part of why we could start our business was thanks to the financial support from Mizuhiko's parents. Also, with Mizuhiko using his family connections to secure contracts with major companies, our business was going smoothly. Following the advice of the Vice President, we were able to deliver the project smoothly. Thank you. No, all I did was break down and summarize the client's request. You have excellent design sense, and with enough listening, you will surely improve even more. Thank you very much. I'll ask for your advice again. Mizuhiko and I shared responsibilities between practical work and sales activities, and I thought it was going well. You are useless now. Thanks for everything up until now, though. What? It seems I was dismissed from my position as a director during an emergency shareholders meeting that I knew nothing about. Mizuhiko holds the majority of the shares in our company, so his decisions reflect his intentions. In other words, my dismissal was due to Mizuhiko's will. Mizuhiko, why? Did I do something to you? Heh, your very existence has always been an eyesore to me. As long as I could use you, I thought I would pretend to be friends, but our office's name is out there now. I've got top-notch design sense, and there are plenty of people who can replace you. You've got no more use to me. Mizuhiko's true feelings, after 5 years of friendship, deeply wounded my heart, and I left the company. After that, time passed, and now at 25, I work as a freelance graphic designer. I don't do much outside of work, only going out when necessary. I spend my days cooped up at home, working. Yes, I'm honored to be able to meet your company's requests. I look forward to working with you again. After being betrayed by Mizuhiko, I became distrustful of people and withdrew from the world. The backlash from trusting him so fully was overwhelming. I spent most of my time sleeping, but I forced myself to work so as not to worry my parents. As long as I met the client's request, I received compensation accordingly. Not having to interact face-to-face made it somewhat easier on my mind. But no matter how close a client is, I'm not willing to get any closer than necessary. I learned the hard way that you can't judge people by their outward appearances. No matter who they are, I'm always afraid I might be betrayed again. I know I can't keep going like this. I know it in my head, but I'm still not ready to connect with others. Just doing the bare minimum is all I can handle right now. Unless something changes, I might just stay like this forever. One day, as I left my apartment to go shopping, I found a stuffed rabbit on the hallway floor and picked it up. Maybe it belongs to that kid? Excuse me? Is this your child's? I noticed a mother and daughter nearby, and nervously showed them the stuffed animal.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Look, May, say thank you. Thank you, mister.
You're welcome. That's a cute stuffed animal.
Yeah, it's my treasure.
I see. Take good care of it, okay?
Okay.
After returning the stuffed animal to the girl, the mother and daughter bowed their heads and entered the apartment next to mine. A treasure, huh? The pure and honest feelings they have. They're too bright for someone like me right now. I knew someone had moved in next door recently, but these days, it's not uncommon for people not to introduce themselves after moving in due to safety concerns. After that, I didn't suddenly become close to them, of course. At most, we would greet each other if we passed in the hallway. People say that relationships in the city are superficial, but for me, that distance was actually comforting. Still, after feeling a stranger's kind gaze for the first time in a while, I felt a bit warmer inside. A few months later, as my days continued unchanged, my life was suddenly turned upside down by the sound of the doorbell.
Please help me! My daughter!
I tried to call my panicking neighbor as I listened to her situation. Apparently, her daughter had developed a fever, but she needed to leave the house for work. She's a single mother with no relatives nearby. Her husband passed away in an accident, and he was also alone with no family.
There was no time to hire a babysitter on such short notice, and she had no one else to turn to.
She must be pretty desperate to rely on someone like me. But is what she's saying really true? I know it's cold of me to feel suspicious even when seeing her like this, but there's a small child who might be suffering alone right now. Understood. I'll be right over. I decided I couldn't just leave them like this, or else I would have nightmares, so I headed next door. Just as Miss Eri Hanasaki, my neighbor, said, her daughter Mei was lying in bed, looking uncomfortable with a fever. She had given Mei the prescribed fever medicine, so she should feel better soon. Miss Hanasaki left for work with a relieved look on her face. I'm glad I trusted what she said. Time passed as I wiped Mei's sweat and changed her ice pillow.
Even though it was so sudden, thank you for helping us.
Miss Hanasaki thanked me when she returned home, and I went back to my apartment. After that, Miss Hanasaki and her daughter often visited my apartment, bringing small gifts. They said it was to thank me for that day, and that once wasn't enough.
Ryota, I bought these baked goods from a nearby patissier. Please have some if you like. May found a leaf shaped like Madame Mask for you, Ryota.
Madame Mask? That's the villain from that anime for little girls that's been airing recently, right? As I was thinking that while looking at the leaf Mei held out, Miss Hanasaki took it from her, and then...
Oh ho ho ho! If there's no rice, then let them eat fried rice!
Are you imitating Madame Mask?
Wow, Mommy! You're just like Madame Mask! Ryota, you should become Mr. Mask too!
Wait, I have to join in on this skit too? Several months passed, and I found myself gradually spending more time with the Hanasaki mother and daughter as they invited me out. It was probably a lot to do with Mei being a child, but before I knew it, my distrust of them had faded away. And along with that, my smile began to return, even if it was still a bit awkward. I have to thank them for helping me remember what it's like to feel happy and enjoy life again.
Ryota, let's build a sandcastle next!
I also started working with Miss Hanasaki professionally. She's the president of Loveco Cosmetics, and she asked me to design the packaging for their products.
Sorry about that. It seems May has really taken a liking to you, Ryota.
No, I'm happy when a child becomes attached to me. After a meeting at Loveco Cosmetics, we went to pick Mei up from daycare. Before I realized it, I was going out and interacting with people more often than before I met these two. I never thought I could change this much, not even a little while ago. I used to think I needed a catalyst for change, but now, I realized they were the catalyst I needed.
By the way, Ryota, what led you to become a freelancer? Did you decide to go independent after gaining experience?
Actually, my former business partner told me I was no longer needed. I hesitantly explained how Mizuhiko had betrayed me.
I see. So that's what happened. I get it now.
Miss Hanasaki seemed lost in thought. Unable to bear the silence, I let out a self-deprecating smile. Well, sometimes I blame myself and fall into self-loathing, thinking that I might have been part of the problem too.
That's not true. You're always considerate of others, Ryota. When you first spoke to me, you naturally crouched down to her level, right? It's a small thing, but that kind of consideration means a lot to me. That's why, on that day, I felt safe leaving my daughter in your care.
I had always wondered why she decided to rely on me when Mei had a fever. What might seem ordinary to one person can have significant meaning to another.
When I made an unreasonable request regarding the work, you carefully resolved each issue one by one. It seems like you really understood our feelings and what we put into the product, and that made me really happy. I think it's wonderful that you're so thoughtful of others, Ryota. So please, don't blame yourself or sacrifice too much. You deserve more praise. If you won't give it to yourself, then I'll pat you on the back for you. Just kidding.
I take pride in striving to meet the client's requests, especially when it comes to work. There were many tough times, but it feels good to know that Miss Hanasaki recognizes my efforts.
I like you too, Ryota. I'll pat you on the back too.
Hey, May! Be careful! Don't move so suddenly! As I was overwhelmed with emotion, May, who had apparently woken up, clung tightly to me. It was a bit suffocating, but I felt grateful to have met this mother and daughter. Meanwhile, at Jikochu Design Office, why are all the contracts being cancelled? Mitsuhiko was struggling as client after client severed ties with the company. Even with the help of his parents' connections, it was becoming difficult to secure new contracts. Furthermore, with declining business, other employees started quitting, leading to a shortage of staff, which in turn caused the quality of work to drop. It was a vicious cycle. Well then. After arriving at the apartment and taking a break at Miss Hanasaki's place as a thank you for carrying May on my back, my phone rang with an incoming call from my previous workplace. Sorry, it's from my old workplace. Wondering what they could possibly want, I answered the call. Yo, Ryota, it's time for you to come back to our company. There's no way you can do real work on your own, right? Huh? Suddenly being asked to return to the company, and that arrogant tone on top of it, I was stunned, wondering what he was even thinking. Since I didn't immediately object, Mitsuhiko seemed to take my silence as agreement and continued talking. Let's meet up somewhere and discuss the details. My usual cafe is fine, right? Hey, wait a minute! Mitsuhiko hung up as soon as he finished saying what he wanted, without giving me a chance to respond.
What was that about?
When I briefly explained the situation, Miss Hanasaki's lips curled into a smile, as if she found it amusing. I'm not planning on meeting him.
No, I think you should meet that former friend.
What?
I have a suggestion.
A few weeks later, I was at the cafe Mitsuhiko had specified, but I didn't come here to meet with Mitsuhiko one-on-one.
Hello, Mr. Shinonome. Thank you for your time today.
I was accompanied by Miss Sagara, who had come with me to the cafe. Thank you as well. I appreciate you making time for this today. Sorry to keep you waiting, Ryota. Mitsuhiko arrived late, but he quickly noticed Miss Sagara sitting with me. Who's that? Is she here for a job interview or something? Of course, his guess was off, and I wondered how he could be so clueless. But before I could say anything, Mitsuhiko started speaking again. Like I said over the phone, come back to our company. I can give you the same position as before. Do you really think I'd come back to your company after the way you betrayed me? Of course, you only succeeded because of my sales efforts. I heard you're freelancing now, but you can't be getting much work, right? Stop pretending and take my hand. It's for your own good. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not lacking in clients. Oh, speaking of which, I should probably thank you. Huh? What are you talking about? Actually, most of my clients were former clients of Jikochu Design Office. I've heard the stories, how you forced designs on clients that completely ignored their wishes. What? Yes, despite being withdrawn for a year and developing a fear of people, I was able to succeed as a freelancer because former clients began reaching out to me. As a result, I know quite a bit about what's going on at his company. When I was there, I kept you from going off the rails, but after I was ousted, it seems things went exactly as I expected. Wait, hold on! So your clients used to be ours? Yes, At least I'm not the broke, jobless person you seem to think I am. In fact, I'm making more money now than I was before. Isn't it your company that's struggling for work? Tch! I paused for a moment, staring directly at Mizuhiko. Who in their right mind would want to work for the person who betrayed them? You'd have to be either a fool or too kind for your own good. Maybe I fit that description before I was betrayed, but I had no choice but to change. But even if we put that aside, I still wouldn't join your company. What we are doing is business, and our work depends on having clients. No one wants to follow a president who only pushes his own preferences and disregards everything else. Then why did you come here today? Did you just want to see me fail and laugh at me?
Allow me to explain that.
Miss Sagara, who had been silent until now, placed her business card on the table. A lawyer? Yes, Miss Sagara is Loveco Cosmetics legal counsel. She was introduced to me by Miss Hanasaki. By the way, she has a lawyer's badge clearly visible on her chest. How could he be so blind?
Recently, Mr. Shinonome retained my services. He wishes to file a claim for damages against your company for his unjust removal as a director.
What? When I became a director at 20, I didn't know much about the law, and afterward, I was too focused on getting back on my feet. So, embarrassingly enough, I didn't even know I could file a claim for damages against Mizuhiko until recently.
Without an objective reason that would hinder Mr. Shinonome's duties, his removal cannot be considered justified. Therefore, we will seek the profit Mr. Shinonome would have earned had he remained until the end of his term.
No way! Mizuhiko was speechless, but Miss Sagara wasn't done.
Additionally, I've been informed that Mr. Shinonome, who was the director at the time, was unaware of any emergency shareholders meeting. Also, Mr. Shinonome, though a minor shareholder, did not receive a notice of the shareholders meeting. I found this odd, so I checked the documents your company filed with the Legal Affairs Bureau. To be blunt, you forged the minutes of the emergency shareholders meeting, didn't you?
Ugh.
To convene a shareholder meeting, all directors must discuss and obtain a majority vote. Additionally, to convene a shareholder meeting, all shareholders must be notified. Therefore, it is impossible for a shareholder meeting to have taken place without Mr. Shinonome's knowledge.
This is also a very embarrassing admission, but at the time, I left everything regarding shareholder meetings to Mizuhiko, and I had no knowledge at all. I realize now how foolish I was as a director, blindly trusting his words, "You're busy, so leave it all to me," as genuine kindness. Yeah, I forged the minutes of the shareholder meeting. So what? Anyway, I own the majority of the company's shares. Even if a shareholder meeting were held, the result would be the same, so what does it matter? Mizuhiko remains defiant, but Ayako sighs in exasperation.
Submitting false minutes of a shareholders meeting is a crime of falsifying official documents. It is a serious crime punishable by up to 5 years in prison or a fine of up to 500,000 yen. Moreover, forging the minutes may also be considered a crime of forgery of private documents. Whether the outcome would be the same or not doesn't matter. You're nothing but a criminal.
No way!
Well, our discussion is over, so we'll be taking our leave now. You'll be formally notified in due course.
Wait, Ryota! Please don't sue me! We are friends, aren't we? Friends, huh? Recalling a conversation with Hanasaki-san a few weeks ago, I give Mizuhiko a cold look.
Ryota-kun, you were probably wrongfully dismissed as a director.
Eriko was the first to point out the inconsistencies in my story. As a CEO of Loveco Cosmetics, she must be well versed in corporate law.
I think you should sue him. Because the fact that you were hurt is undeniable. From my perspective, betraying your feelings is a sin that the law can't fully punish.
You said it, didn't you? that you found me annoying for a long time. Huh? No, that was just a figure of speech. No matter how I interpret it, there's no way you've ever had any positive feelings toward me. You said that once the company was running smoothly, I had no more use to you. Don't pretend you forgot. And besides, I have no intention of working for someone who treats me like a mere pawn. A little while ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to say this. I might have ended up just blaming myself again. But I've changed, thanks to Eriko and Mei. Even if it wasn't genuine, there were times when your words truly made me happy. There were even times when I thought you were a treasure of a lifetime. How foolish of me. But those memories aren't enough to heal the wounds you've inflicted on my heart. Don't ever use the word friend with me again. It's a shallow, nauseating word coming from you. With those final words, I and Ayako left the scene for good. Wait, Ryota, please! Mizuhiko's desperate shouts are, of course, ignored. And so, I put an end to the grudge I held against Mizuhiko. Later, Mizuhiko faced both criminal and civil charges. Damn it! I just envied Ryota's design skills and wanted to bring him down a notch. I thought I would feel better if I started the company from a better position than him. It seems Mizuhiko had always harbored a complex about me. Even when he was beneath me, he was always the same, and the employees only admired him. So I thought it would be better to just kick him out of the company, but that was just a futile effort. If only I had admitted his talent from the start. Maybe then... a lifetime treasure, huh? Talking about what ifs won't change anything now. Mizuhiko must be realizing the harsh reality of how things turned out. Eriko Hanazaki, I've been attracted to you for a long time because you always encouraged me. Would you please go out with me? On the other hand, I had just confessed my love to Eriko in what was a once-in-a-lifetime moment.
Are you sure you want me, Ryota-kun? I have Megumi and I'll probably end up causing you a lot of trouble.
Yes, I would rather share that trouble with you and overcome it together. Of course, Mei's feelings are important too.
If Ryota becomes my dad, I'll be so happy. Mama, Ryota, and Megumi are all my treasures. Treasures? Yeah. I shouldn't suppress my feelings. I should be honest, like Megumi. Ryota-kun, I like you too. I'm looking forward to being with you.
Yes! When you're betrayed by someone you trust, you're sure to hit rock bottom. But not everyone betrays you. You realize that when you meet someone you can really trust. Trusting people is scary. That's why I believe that someone you can trust, someone you want to trust, is a treasure in life.
Hello, Brittany back here with another fabulous episode. I really liked the message of this episode because I personally have been betrayed before, and I still have trust issues to this day, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to kind of get it back, but it's worth it to try. You know what I mean? So everyone, let's be positive. Let's try to love and trust. Not everybody. Let's not trust burglars or criminals, okay? Let's not go that far. Anyways, let's leave this on a positive note. I love you all and I'll see you next time. Mwah!